Good morning and afternoon. It's Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific. Welcome all to the 9th episode of Season 4 of the Sharing Show in 2022. I'm Kane, and today I'm joined with David, better known as the Workday Sharing Guy, along with Christy, Teresa, and special guests.
All right. What is the most important thing about Zoom chat?
Just make sure that you select all panelists and all attendees in the drop down in the chat when you do that.
Welcome everyone. So if you would put in your chat, we're going to test the chat. So if you want to put in there the sharing options that you use, 1 for Sharing Cafe, 2 for Share-a-thons, 1212 is our next one, 3 for Share Space on Slack, 4 for Working VR Cafe, 5 for WOW, Women on Workday.
Hi everyone. So this is David, a sharing human. I am no longer an active Workday employee. I was employee 149 15 years ago. My views do not necessarily represent Workday's, although we overlap on lots of things. But also, the whole customer sharing movement is about customers sharing with each other. Sharing is not training. We highly recommend you take Workday training. You'll get a PDF. It'll tell you where to click, and then you could get trained. That's not what we're doing here. We're sharing with each other. Some people think of it as group therapy. Let's see how it goes. We're on a mission to help as many Workday customers as possible. So I'm going to recommend joining the customer sharing movement if you haven't already. We started focusing some workshops on calc fields and the business object model as well. So in case you're not on LinkedIn, really a good idea for you to get onto LinkedIn, please. That's where we're posting information, not hardly anything we post on community. We post everything on LinkedIn. There is a group, Learning Calc Fields, Learning Workday Calc Fields, and the Business Object Model. Activity on LinkedIn, if you haven't been watching, for one, it's the final day of Movember. So I put a whole history here of Movember as my banner. Also, the activity, it's those spikes, that's 9/9 in Orlando. And then 11/11, essentially, we did a share-a-thon on 11/14 right before Rising in Stockholm. What else happens on LinkedIn? Well, I posted a poll here for people to pick the 8 groups of the World Cup. Congrats, Kane, or anyone who is actually rooting for England. That had more votes than USA. So we will have some fun things that we will be doing on 12/12 in the Share-a-thon, and then 12/21 on the next show. Part of it will be to see how many people recognize flags. And you'll see I was practicing here for the World Cup, just missed the cutoff here for the USA national team. What else do we do on LinkedIn? Well, Movember, it's the final day, but we also do, that's a headset for virtual reality. So you'll see lots of this coming up. Why am I telling you it's the final day? We're trying to get to half of our goal, 100 members. We're trying to get to 50. We need just a few more. Please go to LinkedIn. You'll see here in red, a 2, 3, and 4. Pretty easy to sign up. The share space I said I was going to mention. This, by the way, these are not my ideas. I'm a sharing human. There are several other sharing humans. So this comes from our friends in Texas. They weren't able to make the show, but this is a similar slide that you saw on the last show. It's a Slack workspace. It's for members of the customer sharing movement. You'll see on the bottom here of these bullets, it's limited to current Workday customers. You get quick access, and we have different channels, several different channels. We were just discussing in the Sharing Cafe, Eric from Missouri mentioned that there was a time in which Workday itself was down and the community was down, but the share space was up. So that's always on. We have this sharing show once a month. We have sharing cafes once a week, but the share space on Slack is always on. It stays up there for 90 days. So anything that's ever been posted is still there. We started this in Orlando. We're coming up on 90 days though. I won't go through these. These were covered on the last show. Teresa, back to you.
Thanks so much, David. Next up, we have Matilda from Stockholm, Sweden. Welcome, Matilda.
Thank you. So I'm Matilda from Stockholm, Sweden. I've been doing Workday for 5-ish whatever years, mainly focused on reporting and security, but also doing a bit of talent and performance config. Love calculated fields and finding solutions to tricky problems. And I did a tour of Stockholm on Sunday to show off the town. So right before Rising started, for those that were here. This is right after Rising. This is not what we had for those of you that were in Stockholm. Kind of lucky that we didn't do the tour when this was the case, I think. But this is what it looked like. We had a tour. I don't know how many people were. And we were walking around in a snow-free Stockholm. It was so nice to just come together and meet everyone and of course, to show off Stockholm.
Matilda, how about, if nothing else, okay, there's a picture on the bottom right of you holding up a sock, but how about on the far left? Is there something
Yeah,
famous
okay, so
about
that's
that?
Mårten Trotzig's gränd. It's the narrowest street in Stockholm. So at the most narrow part, it's 90 centimeters wide. So we crammed
Okay.
together to get a photo.
Yeah, okay, and on the bottom right, what's the building in the background for those who missed the challenge that you set out a couple months
Yeah,
ago?
so the building on the right side is the parliament, and the building on the left side is the palace. But the one that were on LinkedIn were the parliament. And here is when we had the share-a-thon. So we were sitting and sharing good ideas. Some of you I know were online, sharing in as well. But those that were on site in Stockholm had socks on.
The socks were handed out early. That was the night before, over there on the right. We're going to hear more, Matilda, about your tour. I'm going to go back one in case you want to like point out anything else here, because I think out of everyone here, very few of the people here were actually live. Maybe not the story of beheading, but any how many islands are there? For
a couple of
example,
thousand. Stockholm consists of a couple of thousand islands, and I think we covered maybe 10 of them or something on Sunday.
So, and some islands have on it just one building.
Yeah,
All
not
right.
huge.
Thank you, Matilda. All right, Christy.
Thank you, David. Next up, we have Denise from Denmark.
Hi, Denise.
Yes, so I am Denise from Denmark. That's also in Northern Europe, a few hours from Matilda in Sweden. And I have worked on Workday configuration since 2016. And my favorite topics are reporting, recruiting, and performance management. And I'm also here today to share from Workday Rising Stockholm, and I was part of the share-a-thon. So what you're seeing here is, of course, the sharing socks that I got from the first day of the share-a-thon. And then we actually did a bit more sharing as we're sitting at the two other pictures you're seeing. We're in the middle of Rising doing the Wednesday sharing cafe with a lot of background noise, I guess, from the people who were listening in on us from live from Stockholm. So we were trying to participate, but it was a bit difficult to hear what was going on. But it was fun to do a sharing cafe live.
Denise, what a great thing that the 8 a.m. weekly sharing cafe was exactly 5 p.m. in Stockholm.
Exactly.
So,
we just made it before breaking up to move out from Rising to the parties. And then another share I had here, we have a picture from the Tuesday Nordic Regional User Group dinner, or was supposed to be dinner, but actually became a party at Burns Hotel, which is an amazing venue, really beautiful old building that we were in. And I think the fun part for me here was that last time we did a Nordic Regional User Group at Rising a few years back, we were a very small group. The Nordic countries is Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Finland. I guess Iceland too, maybe, Matilda, you know. Anyhow, last time we met up, we were maybe 60, 70, 80 people sitting at a nice restaurant, having a nice dinner together. And then this time we were a few hundred people. So the group had just grown tremendously within those few years. And it was quite amazing to see all the new faces there as well, aside from, of course, the familiar faces from before. So
okay,
that was actually my experience at Rising that I wanted to share.
Thank you, Denise. And also, it looks like accidentally this user group turned from dinner into a party.
Yeah, they couldn't really fit us at a seated dinner, I guess. So it was
okay. Now,
a party.
Some others from the U.S. might be curious. Workday has customers in Iceland. Were there people attending from Iceland?
Yes, they were attending. I know some of them. Iceland has a population of 200,000 people or something, and some of them are Workday customers and were in Stockholm.
Okay, Teresa, to you.
Thank you so much, David. Next up, we have Ganesh from Singapore.
Hi, Ganesh.
Hi, David. Hi, everyone. Hi, Teresa. So my favorite part of Stockholm was the walking tour by Matilda. It was great to meet everyone in person and bond while admiring the beauty of Stockholm and learning her history from Matilda. At dinner, we bonded over our love and frustrations with Workday. I think it's not usual to have a whole group of people who understand at a deep emotion level some of the challenges we faced. And I think apart from increasing our Workday knowledge, it felt really cathartic, sharing our experiences, both our love for Workday and also some of our frustrations, and coming up with solutions together. And I feel like the day of the walking tour was a really good foreshadowing of what was to come for the rest of the week. And it was really good to get to know everyone at a deeper level. So I really enjoyed the experience from start to finish. And I think it was a really good way to start having the walking tour at the beginning.
This is you in the picture somewhere. Where are you in this picture?
Yes. So sorry, I'm on the right. I'm on the right, the most right. The guy with the red beanie.
The only one not wearing an orange hat, who's wearing a hat. Now,
Yes.
You went from Singapore to Stockholm, and you also went to Orlando?
Yes. So and Orlando was my first rising, and Stockholm was my second rising. So I'm on a roll now. But yeah, I had a great time in both, and I highly recommend rising, and especially the pre-rising Sheraton.
Well, I look forward to seeing you in San Francisco, if not before.
Me too. I'm excited.
All right, Christy, back to you.
David, next up we have Indy from Texas. Welcome, Indy.
Hi, everyone. Indy from Texas, I guess the VR guy. Doing Workday since 2013. That's about 9 years. Primary focus area has been on the Workday financial side initially when I had started, but lately we have been doing some work in the virtual reality, which involves Work in VR Cafe. Work in VR Cafe is a space we have set up in virtual reality in Metaverse, where we have a space where you can collaborate as well as have different portals. One of the portals we have there is for calculated fields. In addition to that, I had the opportunity to meet the sharing fans in Stockholm. So we have a gallery in the collaboration area. One side is the pictures and some of the videos related to Orlando Rising. And when you enter on the left-hand side, we have created a gallery from Stockholm Rising. By the way, beautiful city, and it was an amazing tour by Matilda. Thank you, Matilda, for showing all the sharing team members the Stockholm. And so I will share a link here in the chat to the Work in VR Cafe. All you need for this is you can visit from your browser, your laptop, mobile device. A better experience is with the VR headset. So if you have that, you will be able to actually have the immersive experience in that space. So I'll share the link, check it out, check out all the pictures in the gallery, and we will be adding more content as we go along.
All right, Indy, what I like about this in particular, it's like walking into a museum, but it's a Workday museum. And you don't have to put on a headset. You just click the link and you use the arrows on your keyboard. And you can walk right up to any of these pictures, click on the picture, it'll get larger. And then there's stories behind each one. So, Indy, thank you for doing this. Happy to have you and the Work in VR Cafe as part of the customer sharing movement, Indy. It's really cool stuff. I think people might be hearing about it for the first time. So we'll stay on this particular Zoom here if people have questions for you about it, Indy.
Awesome. Thank you, David.
That's exciting and fun to watch. Next up, we have Jasper from Indiana. Welcome, Jasper.
Hey, I'm Jasper from Indiana. I started working with Workday in 2019 on our HCM implementation. I was initially on the data migration and integration leads, both from the IT department side of things. I have some functional experience around reporting, integrations for HCM benefits, payroll, recruiting, and financials recently. A little about me, I'm an automotive enthusiast all my life, but I currently stick to minivans and other family moving appliances. I came today to share and ask about Workday Recruiting. You can respond in the chat with what your experience was with transitioning to or from Workday Recruiting, with one, the feature you love the most in Workday Recruiting, and two, the feature you miss the most from your old ATS or applicant tracking system.
Now, Jasper, I know you talked about this a bit during the cafe, and here in the show, what we do is we have people take to the chat. So I see Deep T already is doing this. So you've got 1 and 2. What do you love the most, and what do you miss?
That's right. So a little bit about us recently, since going to Workday in 2020, we went through a couple iterations, and recently we moved from Workday Recruiting, a little bit of a hybridized solution, to a third-party applicant tracking system. And I have to say, what I most love from moving to the applicant tracking system is the marketing automation. We're all dealing with the Great Resignation, or we were until recently, and being able to hit all these different job boards without integrating with each one or some of them. What I most miss from Workday Recruiting is the simplicity of having everything on one platform, speaking the same language and just working.
Christy, you're up next.
Thank
you, Jasper.
Yeah. Thank you, David. Next, we have Animesh from India. Welcome, Animesh.
Thank you. Okay, so this is just a brief summary about the different sharings that I've done in various sessions. Recently, I have been a part of the pre-share-a-thon before the Stockholm Rising. I did a session on Ox. I'm doing Workday for about 9 years, working on security, recruitment, learning, talent and performance, business processes, integrations, BERT, Ox, and Workday Extend is something that I'm learning right now. Fun fact, other than Workday, I'm a motorbiking enthusiast. I took a 21-day biking trip covering the Himalayan range through the world's highest motorable road at an altitude of 18,000 feet from sea level. Today, I'm talking about security configurations on the recruitment side. There are a few standard security groups, I would say, that you can use, which is recruiting coordinator, recruiting sourcer, recruiting administrator, and primary recruiter. Now, primary recruiter would be the role that would be defined based out of job requisition, so that you have better management of the job requisitions rather than standard constrained and unconstrained roles on the supervisory organization level. Here, I have kind of listed a few domain security policies in terms of which are related to recruitment, how you can manage candidates, global search, prospects. So I've kind of tried to distinguish them between what you can use in an unconstrained security groups versus constrained security groups on the recruitment side. One of the challenges that I've read about on community a lot would be the document categories on the business processes. Like, there are some business processes which allow you to do attach documents, and when you attach a document, you get a complete list of document categories that you have. Not all the business processes allows you to do the attachments. So if you want to know whether your business process allows to do the attachments or not, you can actually go to the business process configuration option report, put your either the business process specifically, or you can put the functional area. I have selected all the business processes in the recruitment functional area. And if you'll see, there is a column in that report which says allow attachments. Yes, so this particular column will going to tell you whether the business process allows attachment to be done during the transactions or not. Now, this can be controlled.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry. Yeah, I mean it's yes or blank, right? There's no word no here. One of my favorite tricky parts of Workday. Sorry, but
yes,
yeah.
it will be yes or a blank. Yes means the business process allows attachments. If it's blank, it means it does not allow attachments to be done. This can be controlled on the business process security policy. So if you'll open the business process security policy of any business process that allowed attachments, you'll see in the last section you have attachment settings and BP toolbar. This is the section which basically controls which security group can view the attachments, which security group can edit the attachments or manage the attachments. So if it is blank, it would be you'll be able to see all the different different document categories that you have into your system that I've shown you in the next slide. When you attach a document, you'll see all the different document categories in here, and which becomes difficult sometimes if you have a lot of categories into the system. What you can do is you can create your document segments and a segment-based security group on the documents, and put it into your business process security policy, which I have showed by by an example of creating a employment agreement segment-based security group onto the next slide. Once I put this into the view and edit permissions, that segment-based security group, and now when I go and try attaching a document into my business process, you will see that I'm only getting that one documents category that I have included into this particular segment on the next slide. So now if you'll see, my list is narrowed down. It will be much more easier for us to manage the list of the document categories that we see in the business processes, and it will not be, a huge list for the people to select from. This is one of the challenges that I have seen, people asking a lot of questions about onto community. So I just thought of sharing it. So this is my share for today.
So next up, we have DT from India. DT, are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thank you.
Hi, DT.
Christy. Hey, David. So I know I don't have an introduction slide, so I feel a little left out. But just so that, people who do not know me, I have been in the Workday ecosystem for quite some time now, from about 2015. And I think that is the year when I first met David, if I'm not wrong, right, David?
Right, you did the very first ever Share-a-thon in 2016.
Absolutely correct. Yes. I know that the introduction shows that I'm going to go big on recruiting dashboards, but I think I'm going to start very, very simply by just floating out an idea of how dynamic Workday reporting can be. One of my very favorite topics is reporting calculated fields and the business object model itself, of course, right? Under the recruiting umbrella, I tried creating something new today. What you see is screenshots from GMS. So this is nothing confidential. You can actually go and find this report for yourself. It is a report type called Transposed. I hope that, someone can use this on their dashboards. Transposed is exactly what transpose means in Excel, where you flip the rows and columns. So here you see that rather than an employee being a row, as you see on an advanced Workday report, you are seeing an employee or an employee record being a column. What I did as a little tweak to it is I added the worker photo at the top to make it more cooler. You also have an option to collapse and expand. From a recruiting standpoint, all I have done is I've compared their interview ratings with their performance ratings. So on the side of the reporting definition, right? So I use the business object all job applications because I wanted to pull the interview rating. And I'm talking about anyone who has a worker record and also a candidate record. The good thing about business object model is that Workday has provided a direct link to the worker object on the job applications object. So we do not need to worry about a lot. All I had to do, because this is a transposed report, if you see the row type on the left is actually not a business object or a way you can connect the related business objects. So you can actually choose if you want to have a field or you want to have a group. It is a little different configuration type than an advanced report. So I had to create a calculated field on job applications from worker to pull the photograph. That's the field number 1. The names are appearing because of the field number 2, which is worker itself. Then if you see, there is a collapsed, David, if you could flip back to the previous slide, please. First screenshot that everyone sees is the collapsed view, right? Now, if you go back to the reporting definition, David, I have chosen to make this collapsed by default. You can actually choose to make it expanded by default. You can add as many groups as you want. It depends on if you want to hide the confidential data by default, right? So it comes in very handy. Then again, because I cannot have a direct related business object and a field off of it on the report, created a simple LRV to pull the employee performance rating, the current rating onto the report definition, and the average interview rating. So if you go back, previous slide, David, this is all this report is about in terms of the fields. Let's go 2 slides front, David, just to show the audience what the sort is. Just so that I could, make sure that all the highest interview raters are in the front, just for the purposes of this demo. I've done a descending, numeric sort. And the filter, David, if you could skip to the next slide, please.
I want to go back, actually, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah.
This is pretty cool, right? So sometimes with the transpose, it goes very wide, and you don't want to scroll left and right, but the highest ratings are on the far left.
That is correct.
Oh,
that
that's
is correct.
so cool. Okay.
So,
all right. So from the sort, you go to the filter.
Absolutely. So one of the things that obviously had to be there is that because I'm using the business object of job applications, which means that it may not have a worker record at all, I first put a filter on saying that, a worker record should not be empty. And then I needed records only that have some interview ratings, right? Filters are as per your need, right? But this is what I used. And then if we can go right to the last one, interview. So a trick question here, right? So David, if you could, sorry, I know we are going back and forth because I can't demo it. If you could go back 1 or 2 slides, right here is also fine. Yes, this is absolutely fine. So one thing to note is, because average interview rating is a numeric field, it cannot be indexed. And hence, on the advanced tab, I had to choose do not optimize for performance in order to put this on the filter. And that is why I was able to use it on the filter, or else this field will not appear. Right? As many times as you try, this field will never come up unless and until you go to the advanced tab and you check the box that you do not optimize this report for performance. Sure. And then you hit save, and voila, that's the report.
Okay, thank you, Deepti. Okay, Mitchell, are you able to come off of mute? So Mitchell, maybe just, very quick, high level, what is Rooster for those who haven't heard of Rooster?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Rooster is an interview scheduling solution designed for Workday. Rooster allows you to more effectively utilize the tools that recruiting has, such as interview teams. We also offer a bi-directional integration to make sure that all of your interview data gets back into Workday, allowing you to keep leveraging the reports that you know and love. Rooster started in 2020, so we're relatively new, but we're now supporting over more than 40 happy clients. We work with organizations less than 1,000 employees and ones with hundreds of thousands. Rooster is solving important obstacles such as being GovCloud and multi-domain compatible. We also offer enhancements to your current process by enabling candidates to self-schedule, allowing candidates to provide their availability, and then putting all of the scheduling information in one easy-to-use place. Our customers have been reporting a dramatic decrease in time to schedule with an average of 60% gain in effectiveness. So I'm very excited to show you why Rooster is becoming synonymous with interview scheduling.
Okay, thank you, Mitchell. We will hear more from you on 12/12 in the Recruiting Share-a-thon, and then the next show, which will be 12/21. So now we also have a word coming from our new sponsor, Sense. And so, Teresa, you get to introduce Stephen.
Fantastic. So next up, we have Stephen from Arizona, who's going to share about Sense.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for allowing us to join the session today. The Sense Talent Engagement Platform is a platform used by hundreds and thousands of recruiters. The Sense Talent Engagement Platform directly integrates with Workday, as well as any ATS that you may be using inside Workday. We empower your recruitment team with an omni-channel conversational bulk texting tool that'll allow them to send text as well as WhatsApp messages that are captured inside Workday. We will empower your recruitment teams with AI-powered inbound and outbound chatbots that will help enrich passive or dormant profiles, pre-screen candidates, as well as capture new talent on the career site and events pages. We offer simple, easy-to-use dashboards that allow your recruiters to quickly action out of the Sense platform with that directly tied into Workday. We'll empower your dormant database with sophisticated job matching through our Discover tool. We also offer a scheduling tool and functionality directly through the omnichannel communication tool. We have a brand new referral tool that we've just recently rolled out and Workday customers are loving. And the backbone of the Sense platform is the automation engine. The automation engine is directly tied into any stages, status, workflow movements, activities, and inactivity to create a white glove candidate experience throughout the entire recruitment process, all the way through welcoming new hires into the organization. Really excited to show you the Sense platform during the breakout session.
Okay, Stephen, that's a lot, I know, but it's great that you have a Zoom here for the breakout. It's a little bit abbreviated, but it's your Zoom. You can feel free to keep it open past 10. But let's go ahead and get this into the chat. So Teresa, I'm just going to go ahead and move forward here. We've got this current Zoom. For those who have any questions about the share space on Slack, the work in VR Cafe with Indy, or anything recruiting related other than going to see a demo from Stephen from Sense. You'll demo, or you just do open Q&A, or some of both?
Some of both.
Okay, great. Thank you, Stephen. So the rules, everybody talks, nobody talks too much. Well, when you go to Sense, Stephen's supposed to talk. So open Q&A for him, go get a demo, help support our sponsors. So for this show, we have Sense. The networking could start. This is optional for you, but you could put first name, location, email. Know that if you put that in the chat, you'll get contacted. So let's do that now. If you want to put into the chat, if you want to be contacted, it's somewhat important for us to know also, we haven't yet put the 12/12 recruiting share-a-thon registration up. So if you put something in the chat, that helps us reach out to you. LinkedIn profile works, email, even just first name. I think Christy probably is connected to almost everybody here. So we are ready, Kane, to wrap up. Okay.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Christy, and thank you, Teresa. And special thank you to our guests for speaking on the show today. As always, we'll publish this episode onto our YouTube channel. If you head over to the YouTube channel and click on the like and subscribe button, you're able to get notified when these videos get posted. Again, thank you all for joining. I'll close the show out and then we'll come back. So if you're on this breakout, stay on this session. All that's left to say is have a great work day.